welcome to the UK Paramotor Podcast. As you can see, we are somewhere different today. We're in the workshop/office, whereabouts we do all the admin, all the paramotor maintenance to keep the school on the road. And we haven't got Joe, so it's been quite hard to get our diaries to align recently, which is why we've not had any podcasts coming out. But I've decided that I'm just going to start smashing them out, just myself, and then trying to get more guests involved as well. So we've got a few guys lined up for next year, really excited about that. And there'll be some more information coming about that in due course. Today, though, I thought we could have a chat about goal setting in paramotoring. So it's been a bit of a rubbish year. I realised that I've not done much personal flying for myself because of the weather. Every flyable day and every moment we've been focusing on the students, getting the students their airtime, getting them through the courses. So I've flown lots. I've done lots and lots of circuits around the field. I've done lots and lots of demo flights, but they're not sort of flights for me. I've not managed to go off and do any cross-country flying or just go and chill out. It's always just been going around the circuit at HQ. And I figured, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set some goals for next year. For 2025, I want to do there's a couple of flights I want to do, a couple of things I want to achieve. And I realised that there's probably not that many people that do that when it comes to paramotoring. It's the 8th of December, the weather's rubbish, the storm's just passed, and this is a time of year when most people sort of reflect on the year that's passed and they set goals for the future. Now, we'll probably do that in our personal lives, we'll probably think about that in our professional lives, but often we won't be thinking about that when it comes to paramotoring. And I thought, well, why the hell not? So I've set myself some goals for next year, and I wanted to sort of talk about the process that I went through for setting these goals and how hopefully you could potentially look at setting your own flying goals for next year. So why bother setting goals for paramotoring? Well, first of all, I believe it'll really help in building confidence. Far too many people just take off, they fly around the local area doing the same old circuit every single time they go fly in, or a variation of it. And that can get a little bit boring. If you're not sort of pushing your envelope a little bit, I'm not saying go out there and fly dangerously, but just push that envelope a little bit, you're never going to progress as a paramotor pilot. So setting some goals now when you've not got the chance to fly because the weather's horrendous, sit down, think of some places you want to go, some things you want to achieve, get them set now, and then when that sort of weather window arrives, often it can just come quite last minute in the UK, you've already got that written down. You could open your notebook, open up Gaggle, and just quickly go and do that flight there and then, instead of doing that same old flight. So pushing your envelope, making the envelope a bit bigger, is only going to make you a better, more confident pilot at the end of the day. Also, it's going to make you a safer pilot as well. Sort of when you go up for a flight and you've got a goal in mind, a little bit of a flight plan already made, that means you're sort of already focused on that thing. If you're just going up to dawdle around, you might be a bit less focused on flying. So having goals already set for you is going to make your flying a bit more safe at the end of the day. And then you can't beat that sense of achievement either once you have managed to successfully complete a goal. So, yeah, that's some of the reasons why I would say setting a goal. Now, how do we go about setting goals that are relevant to paramotoring? So I use a SMART goal setting technique. What that is we make sure that our goals are specific. So there's no point in saying, right, I want to fly more. Well, let's think about how much more you want to fly, what sort of flying it is you want to do. If you want to improve your takeoffs, instead of just saying, I want to get better at takeoffs, we can say, right, I want to nail my nil wind forward launches. So that's how we make our goals specific. Measurable. So let's say we're struggling with our accuracy of our landings. Instead of just saying, right, I want to land more accurate, let's make that goal measurement. Let's give ourselves something to aim towards. I want to hit 10 spot landings in the first part of next year would be a really good one, for instance. Make sure it's achievable. So if you've just passed your CP, don't go out and plan a 200-kilometre cross-country flight and expect to be able to do that in the first half of the year. Instead, let's think about an achievable goal first. So maybe your 25-kilometre sort of triangle around your local area using GPS could be an achievable goal. 50-kilometre, you know what's going to work for yourself. Make sure it's relevant as well, because if you're not a competitive person, there's no point in setting a goal of becoming the British Paramotor champion in 2025. But that being said, entering a competition could be a really good goal to set. Even if you're not competitive, you don't have to go and enter a competition to win. It can be a lot about improving yourself as a pilot. So take a look at entering one of the competitions around the world. And then finally, time bound. So have a specific date in mind that you want to achieve that from. It's very easy at the end of the year to say, okay, I want to get better at landings by the end of next year. Instead, if we've got some numbers to it, so I want to have hit 10 spot landings by the end of spring, and I want to be doing consistent engine off landings by the end of the year, whereabouts I'm always landing within a metre of my wing bag or something like that. And that sort of brings us on to breaking them goals down a bit as well. If you want to fly cross country and fly big cross countries, yet you're at the start of your flying career, you might not even have your pilot rating yet or something like that. Let's think about how we can break them goals down. So, first of all, if we're going to go on a long cross country flight, we're going to have airspace to deal with, we're going to have potential weather issues to deal with. And all of that stuff is stuff that you need to learn about, and you can learn about in a classroom. So signing up to a theory course could be a good start and a little goal to have for the start of the year. On that note, we may be running some pilot theory sessions in January. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. Some practical things you could do with regards to this cross country that you're planning is work on your fuel management. January, February, it's going to be cold months. You might not be wanting to go up for 3-4 hour cross country flights. So instead, go for an hour. See how much fuel you burn in that hour. That's all data that's going to be really useful for your cross country flying as the year progresses. So yeah, that's sort of breaking these goals down so you've got your big goal that you want to achieve and your smaller goals and steps to get there. So some ideas of goals that you could potentially set yourself. Let's say we're a beginner to start with. Let's look at some ideas. Obviously, these are just to sort of get your creative juices flowing. Do what's best for you. So as a beginner, some goals that you could potentially look at is master a launch type. So whether it's reverse launching or forward launching, choose the one you're least confident in. And the aim at the end of the year is to make that the launch that you're super confident about, and that's the one that you want to do. So let's say all your launches have been forward launches, you're happy with them, you know that you're going to get off the ground, great. But as soon as a bit of breeze comes and it comes to reverse launching territory, you're either trying to do a forward launch or you're nervous, you might not think about flying. Let's set mastering reverse launches as your goal for 2025. You could look at achieving sort of 5 engine off landings within 5 metres of your wing bag. So by that, I mean chuck your wing bag down when you start your flight and then do an engine off landing at 1,000 foot or above. You might find that the thought of doing that straight away is too much. You might think, God, I don't know if I'm going to make the field. I'm not sure, I've not got that confidence. So what you would do is you would start by doing it on idle. So fly over the field at 1,000 foot, 800 foot, whatever, come onto idle and just try not to touch that throttle on your full circuit round. The odd rev every now and again to keep the engine running, but try not to use it as a way to stretch that glide. And then once you've done that a few times and you manage to not use your throttle, then have a go engine off and come in, see how close you get. And then you can work on that until you're consistently getting to land exactly where it is you want to land. And that'll be a really good goal that's also going to make you a safer pilot in the long run. You could also give yourself a quantity of flights that you want to achieve in the year. Let's say you want to rack up 50 flights. That's a nice measurable goal that you could work towards. If you're an intermediate pilot, you could look at flying some longer cross countries. So, a 50, 70, 100k cross country, have that goal written down. Often if you're an intermediate pilot, you're wanting to move on with your wing. Now, something that I often see is people that move up to the next level of wing, yet they're not using their current wing to their full potential. They've maybe not even thought about setting up a speed bar, yet they want to go buy a faster wing. So yeah, get your speed bar set up. Have a go at setting it up yourself. It's much easier if you can have somebody to help you. We're probably going to look at doing a video about how extra things you can do with regards to your speed bar and the setup of your speed bar to make it work if you're going to be using it a lot. Also, you could look at thermaling as well. Having a go at thermaling is a real good way of increasing your skill level on the paramotor. Now, there's a safe way of going about this. What I'm not going to expect you to do, or what I'm going to ask you not to do, is for your first ever thermaling flight, go up in the middle of the day in spring when the thermals are small, they're fast, they're booming, they're going up at a rate of knots, they're sharp edges. You're probably going to come back from that flight never wanting to go up in the thermic conditions again. So instead, go at the end of the day, okay, where there's still some thermic activity there, but at the end of the day, the thermals are usually bigger. The edges are a lot smoother, they're a lot more gradual. And that's the time where you want to be going up to learn thermaling. There's no point in going up when it's absolutely booming, because anyone can go up then. Go at the end of the day where it's smoother, but also a little bit more challenging. And what you could do is you could set yourself, again, a measurable goal for that. So say, right, I want to be able to climb, I want to get 1,000 foot worth of height gain with my engine off. That could be a real good goal for an intermediate pilot. If you're an advanced pilot, an idea could be ditching the GPS. So fly 100 kilometre cross-country flight using a map, using a stopwatch and using a compass. That's going to be something that's going to improve your skills as a paramotor pilot. It's so easy to use a GPS. Looking at your phone, half the time you're missing the flight. So the fun and the challenge of flying a big cross-country flight just using an air map or an OS map trust me, you're going to enjoy that. You're going to enjoy that. You could try taking part in a competition, which we've mentioned before, or a paramotor rally. Now, that's something that we're looking at organising. I'm not sure if that's going to happen next year or not, but got some really good ideas about having an actual cross-country rally organised in the UK. So watch this space. And the last thing you could do as an advanced pilot, or to be fair, you could do this as an intermediate pilot or even a beginner pilot at the end of the day. If you've got your pilot rating, you could look at becoming a BHPA power coach. It's a chance to share the love of flight. The BHPA run coaching courses. So on this course, you're going to learn the correct way to coach people, what you're able to do on a sort of legal insurance perspective. So coaching's all about getting the pilots that are already got their club pilot rating and helping them progress towards their pilot. It allows you to be sort of under the BHPA umbrella, covered by the BHPA insurance, but still able to offer that advice. If you haven't got a coaching license or a coaching rating under your belt, you're not covered by that BHPA insurance. So looking at getting your BHPA power coach rating could be a real good goal for 2025. I hope that's been interesting. I hope that you've got some ideas, and I hope you're actually going to go out and action this and start thinking about the sort of flights that you could be achieving next year. I've noticed that Dan Jones is somebody who's a good goal setter, and Dan's, he's not been flying forever, but he has had an amazing progression, and I reckon that's all down to him setting them goals and working towards them, and obviously putting in a lot of hard work and training as well. But I'm sure if you speak to many of the good pilots, they will do something like this. So good luck, enjoy. If you like this, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, give us a thumbs up, and I'll be back with some more podcasts soon. Cheers.